going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. This is a very festive edition of the State of Wrestling, and that is Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? I feel terrible. I forgot the fireworks. I only brought the air horns and the vuvuzelas. But I forgot the firecrackers, my friend. I'm sorry, but we're here to celebrate. Happy late Canada Day and early 4th of July.
Happy, I was going to say, like, we always plug our friends over at the Wrestling for Life Network, but they're basically the same as us, like one Canadian, one American.
Yes.
I always sort of say, like, the weird in between is like this weird, awkward, like Canada America handshake between Canada Day and the 4th of July. So, I mean, for the other people listening in other places around the world, I'm sorry that I don't know what your days are, but for the fellow Canucks out there, happy late Canada Day. For the Yanks down south, happy early 4th of July. This will be going out Friday to celebrate kind of the first return back to 2-hour SmackDown and its taped. Dot for reasons.
Reasons.
But yeah, no, you know, if the obnoxious graphic that I made for this edition of the State of Wrestling isn't completely obvious, we managed to fit a pod right in the middle. And holy Christ, coming off of last weekend, we made it. We made it through.
What a weekend.
We started at 1 on Sunday. We did the TNA. We did the NXT / the other guys. The other guys went until 1 a.m. The other guys went longer than my pay-per-view day hangout went, and that's a easy as hell way for me to just transition into thanks everybody for hanging out in the hangouts. That's what they're for. Yep,
yeah,
it's tired in here, but that was a lot of fun. 4 shows, and I will say, before we get into the more tribal stuff, and we will.
We will.
It is kind of fun. It is kind of fun on those crazy, holy fuck, how many things are happening in one day days.
Yes. I do like it when it's jam-packed like that, but then you get disappointed where it's like, all right, so we have nothing on the weekend until the 18th. And I get holiday weekend this weekend for us essentially was for you guys, so they try to, but still, like they tend to heavily
right in the middle of the week. That was useless, but
yes,
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
And
they tend to stack everything.
Too hot to do anything.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere in the same
degrees.
portion, if you're anywhere in the same portion of the globe as I am, and are susceptible to the heat like I am, I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm not being funny. Find some shade. Find some AC. Drink your water. All that shit that your mom and dad told you when you were kids and we all rolled our eyes. Go do all the things. Hope you're celebrating safely and all those other things. But coming off the weekend, man, what was it? Night of Champions kind of got a chance to stand on its own because all the craziness happened the second night. So Night of Champions was almost kind of like a pre-show.
In a way. Yeah.
And especially because the timing was off because obviously they're in Saudi. But
yes, and we thought they were dealing with the heat here. I did the math. It's 42.2 degrees Celsius, feels like. So that's 108 Fahrenheit. I mean, it's insane with the humidity and real feel that it could even get that hot in my little tiny state. But it was hot in Riyadh season. And you know what the biggest upset for me was is as much as they, like, leaving the show, it was a good show. Wasn't great, but it was good. But just as soon as you got into Raw, it was made and deemed pointless, and that's given it such a bitter taste.
We get to fight, Jake. They say we agree on everything, and we get to fight.
I know.
Good. And I know where you land on this, and I'm pretty sure I know where our buddy Cody lands on this. And I love you guys. But I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
I'm genuinely curious to hear it. So,
people are going to say that I'm giving WWE a cop out. It's absolutely true. But I wanted to touch on first before we get to King and Queen of the Ring.
Those are just previews. We got a lot to get to today.
Before we get to King and Queen of the Ring, I do want to talk about the Sammy win because that was huge.
Absolutely,
really happy for him. Kind of thought it was like the only way they're jamming him into this match is that he's winning.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to say this, the stories are out there, the spoilers are out there for SmackDown. Even though this is going live, we're recording this on Thursday. Let's say it with our chests. We're recording this on Thursday to release on Friday. So by the time all this goes down, SmackDown will have already happened. I still don't want to touch on SmackDown spoilers too much.
We went through them on Wednesday, and even still, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting with the preview. But
yeah,
even still, it's like we avoided them, long enough. And it's unfortunate that Sammy's celebration happens, coronation, whatever you want to call it, on a taped episode. And it's leading to him defending his title, which has been officially announced. They had that out, so they announced the matches for SmackDown, non-spoiler, like what they're building to, and then they put out that winner of Friday will face Sammy Monday, and that's WWE official because they're trying to excite everyone for the Raw in Chicago. But Sammy, huge win there, and it's been interesting so far seeing the response.
I wonder who's gonna show up in Chicago.
Because
whatever has been released in the spoilers, and I'm really trying to tiptoe around the spoilers. I hope whatever people think they know coming out of the spoilers gets completely turned on its head by my buddy Phil on Monday.
I think it might. And obviously, sports not now there's spoiler on CM Punk's rumored return. No one's knows for sure, but they're all, guessing, obviously. It's a hypothesis. Wrestling Observer had stated previously that the plan was always for, Oba and Brock to face at SummerSlam, Hell in a Cell, and it was always the plan for Punk and Cody to face at SummerSlam. But now things have changed. Oh, Nostradamus,
They have, but there's also time. And there's also Chicago before SummerSlam. No matter what we have on SmackDown, no matter what they say they have planned for Raw's in Chicago, Punk's going to come back. They're going to turn the whole thing up on its head. And even if we get Punk Cody, awesome. It's the match that I've been waiting for a long time. If they switch it around, do some Magic Mike work under the plastic cups and all that kind of thing, and we end up getting Sami Zayn versus Punk, that wouldn't hurt my feelings.
No,
and it would be a hell of a match. It would be a hell of a match. But I wanted to say very briefly because I saw this and it was a transcription from an interview that Sami Zayn did on ESPN, just responding to
criticism,
the typical bullshit. And I hate saying the typical bullshit, but it's basically like, oh, he doesn't look like a champion. Oh, he's a bum, and da 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 da. And people are tripling down on like all over the place. Like, oh, Darby was the champion in AEW. They got a bum champion in WWE, and then they went after I keep forgetting his name, the really, really flamboyant guy that was on NXT last week.
Oh my God.
Something Rourke. Rourke?
Yes.
Aaron Rourke.
Or something like that. You got it. Yep.
And it's like, oh, nobody looks like a champion anymore. And I want to just read, I'm not going to read the whole thing because he kind of stumbles on his words a little bit, but I wanted to sort of.
It is a bit long-winded, like me, yes.
Get the bulk of it. To me, I equate it with almost like staying in your hometown your whole life and never going to New York City, never realizing that there's a whole planet out there with billions of people and billions of things and billions of cuisines and cultures and dances and whatever. There's a whole universe out there. Like, man, broaden your horizons. And if I'm not your cup of tea, fair play. But the idea that a champion needs to be this or be that, well, I just think you're an idiot. Nothing needs to be anything. If you know, I've always subscribed to that. And I'm like, people are going to lose their minds.
It's good, and that's so true. Yeah.
But see, here's the thing: people are going to read that whole thing in the context that he's given it, and all they're going to say is, "Oh, some guy from WWE called the fans idiots. WWE doesn't respect their fans." And it's like, no, he's calling you like closed-minded and narrow-minded, and you're denying yourself the opportunity to possibly
enjoy.
It's the same as like. Yeah. Anybody else outside WWE is like, oh, if you only watch WWE, then you don't really know what you're missing. And there's some validity to that. Now, AEW's crap, and we gave it a chance, and it's dead. But the thing is, like,
are you going to patch me in to the Banana Club or what?
Yeah. But the whole, like, and yeah, every now and then you do want to see a big jacked up guy. You do want to see a Braun Breaker. You do want to see a Dave Bautista, Brian Cage, Hulk Hogan back in the day, Randy Orton, John Cena, whatever. But like, then you get Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio. Like, Rey Mysterio alone for the size and the luchador thing Like, if there's no Rey Mysterio in WWE, I don't think we have WWE AAA now.
Oh,
like,
certainly not.
That's got to be a foregone conclusion,
this
right?
type of mindset has happened for as long as sports has been a competition-based thing, for as long as humans have been.
That's not what an athlete looks like.
Yes, I mean,
I remember being a kid. Like you on the basketball court, then I get to knock you over and punch you in the throat.
I remember
what are we doing?
getting into a visceral fist fight, elementary school, and I can remember the kid's name and everything, and us arguing because he's like, Sean's not a real wrestler. You know, look at him. He's a tiny little pretty boy. Look at the F-slur, you know, and you're like, that's my favorite, like that kind of thing, you know, like you were just like, and I loved The Undertaker and all that, but I'm like, Sean's awesome. Like, why can't you? Oh, and it wasn't just like, oh, the blonde hair girly thing. It was like tinier. And
I remember being a pretty much like, I went to like 2 or 3 Destiny shows, and yeah, I looked at TNA every now and then, like back in the day, but I was mostly a WWE guy. I remember feeling there all of a sudden, like the smaller indie guy was everywhere. Like, it took wrestling, like from what I knew in that narrow like WWE point of view, and then all of a sudden, like it seemed like in rapid succession, you had like Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, AJ Styles.
Yeah. And part of that was the independent scene, the transition, and a lot of those kids at that time being inspired by Shawn Michaels and other wrestlers that looked like them. They weren't the biggest, but they could do this athletic game of cat and mouse.
In the tag division. In the tag division, you had, who did you have? You had Kendrick and Brian Kendrick, and what was his partner's name? Paul London.
Yes.
You had the Hardy Boys. You had Motor City Machine Guns, and now you have a team that are now old in their own right that are still trying to be the Hardys, and the Hardys are still awesome. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. But I remember thinking that was like an influx, and I'm like, okay, we've had a bunch of these guys, and then you do get whatever you want to say that series. Oh, what a champion looks like, 6'5", 275, jacked and stacked, Randy Orton, John Cena, whatever the case may be. Give me a 6-month Daniel Bryan run, and all of a sudden somebody like a John Cena looks like they came out of the woodwork.
And that was the spectacle of it. And that's why I was upset with NXT with how they handled Mason Rook this week, because I am not the guy that usually goes against size discrepancies. Like, that's why I enjoy that's why Enzo and Cass work so well. The dichotomy between the two. He's tall, he's tiny, but they kick ass. Like that kind of thing. Like that. But it makes the spectacle bigger.
With tag teams, that became the thing for a while. Like, every tag team was like a big guy. Remember Homicide and Hernandez? Yep. Remember
it happened.
RIP and all that, but like Crime Time with Shad and JTG.
Yeah.
Like, you had Enzo and Cass that stuck out as the big guy, little guy tag team. And then you take it away from everybody when everybody's trying to be, I'll be the one guy that does that. And then if everybody does it, then nobody's the one guy that does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to have people popping for that one scene. Even if you've never seen TNA, we've all seen the one, I think it's from an old Destination X, the cage match where I think it's Elix Skipper runs along the top of the cage. Hits a
does the head scissor. Yep.
That set everybody's mind on fire at the time. And now
that was
it's like, oh, well,
that's like such a simple thing.
I just saw
now.
Kevin Knight crawl up to the top of a cage and hold an exploding backpack. So what's a head scissor?
Yeah,
first of all,
exactly. And now, fucking dumb. But yes,
but no, shout out to Sami Zayn for the win, and shout out to Sami Zayn for like.
Well, that's why I said that, because everybody goes to Daniel Bryan and fucking Bork Laser as like their go-to match, and maybe I'm not the biggest Lesnar guy always, but admittedly that was a good match of like David Goliath type thing, and I've never hated that
matches with smaller guys have always been more entertaining. Like Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, huge spectacle, huge marquee match. Nobody's going to deny that, but like his matches with Bryan and Styles and especially Balor, because when he was fighting Balor was when they were like really like playing on the diverticulitis, and he got the,
even Rollins.
The slam. Like Rollins, yeah,
to a certain extent.
But Rollins, here's the thing: Rollins sort of got out of that mode for me because he kind of wrestles he's not a big guy. He's not like a big built John Cena type.
No.
But the more he wrestles like them, the less I see him in that other vein, which is probably unfair. But it's where it's always going to slip my mind when we have this kind of conversation.
No, exactly. And hard to
say,
think on the spot. But like that's why I was upset with Mason Rook losing to Vanity Project, even though it was essentially 4-on-1 with China in their corner. I still I wasn't it upset me because they're trying to get Rook over as this tank, and then here you are taking the treads off with, tiny guys. And that is, unfortunately, they didn't do it in a way where you felt like, oh, they overcame the odds or he beat Rook at his own game. It was just like, oh, they kind of held his leg. That was unfortunate. And seeing Sami Zayn overcome the odds, so.
I get what you're saying 100%. And this is where people accuse me of giving WWE free passes. Like, the Vanity Project is kind of lame. So, like, when they win in a really lame way, it's like, somebody smack them. And it's like, on the one hand, you're frustrated because you actually want to see it booked better. But on the other hand, it does kind of lean into, you know what, when somebody does smack the shit out of them, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, and I'm not even trying to change your mind, but it's like, it's one of those where I can do it. And we're going to get there later. Sammy, champ. Sammy sticking up for himself as champ. Love it. Don't have much to say about Io Sky being Queen of the Ring. Good for her.
Last thing, Sammy getting text from Cena. That was really cool. He said that John, he said Cena sent me a message, reminding me of the difficulty of attaining this. Less than 1% of people who ever aspire to do what we do ever get to this point.
Nice.
He's like, he did more than just saying congratulations. He said he really touched me by saying this is genuinely earned. I don't want to throw out personal stuff he said to me, but the thing that he said is you really, really did it your way. And that was the one comment I wanted to make. No matter how people have argued, like Sami Zayn doesn't have the look, Sami Zayn doesn't have the ability. No one said that he hasn't earned it. And that's kind of very interesting.
And where I think it's kind of cool, and we had these moments a lot more in old NXT when there was an appropriate break in the kayfabe. The whole match long, the commentary team was obviously going with, Sammy's been bugging these guys. He's such a fucking dick. He wormed his way into this match. Da-da-da-da-da. As soon as he got that 3 count, Michael Cole, in full, like, proper Michael Cole mode, the journey of however many years, he never gave up and he's finally achieved it and da-da-da-da. And you can break and acknowledge that and then go back into character stuff next week. And I think that's really cool. And I think Michael Cole specifically is really underrated in that regard as to like knowing when to tip the other side of the blade for a second.
Yeah.
But
no, absolutely.
Shout out to Sammy. Shout out to Sammy for like not only winning the championship in Saudi, he's one of the few people who can actually have a meaningful victory in Saudi. So I kind of have to make an allowance for that as well as we have the ongoing like Saudi Arabia discussion and all that kind of thing, which is still valid, guys out there, before you come and take my head. Pause. Queen Io, fine. The idea that she won the match and immediately said, okay, we're going again in a month and I'm taking your belt. Like no hesitation, no, oh my God, who's she going to pick on Monday type of idea. Like the fact that she did it right there before Liv could even get up the rampway. Nice, cool, impactful. We saw a great match and immediately we find out we're getting a rematch. Very, very cool. Now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now.
Io, as you said too. Io was not a bad win, but my really, really super quick take on it was just kind of like the men's. It ends up being pointless. I would have given it to Liv rather than have her lose. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it certainly is. An issue. I just feel like it makes, because now Io's facing her again. She already beat her. Like, is that really a draw for SummerSlam? We got the match. Like the rematch is not the worst in the world for the title. But
here's the thing. I don't love that we're selling SummerSlam on a rematch. I'll give you that right off the bat. The other side of the coin is we saw a really kick-ass match, and we're going to get to see that kick-ass match again. What the other sort of caveat, the other side of the coin is nobody's saying anything about Rhea Ripley and her title and where that's going, and it really makes me think like
she's more
how's
injured.
she doing? Like,
Yeah.
More and we've always said like on here, like it's really not cool to speculate because you never know what people are
but they
going
put
through.
out that
But
speculation by saying that, oh yeah, the injury is confirmed and they don't know how bad it is.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the longer WWE stays quiet, the more you
cause
the more the
rampant
sympathy
speculation.
builds.
Yes, and
Not even rampant speculation, but like the sympathy builds if you're
oh,
a decent human
very
being.
true. Yes, as well.
but
But I'm
at the
saying
same
like
time, but it does lead into speculation as well. Oh, you know,
people probably
how
would have
long are they
questioned
gonna
it
let
less if they didn't say anything. You know what I mean? Like, and they'd just be like, "Where is she?" versus "Is she healthy? Can she make it?" And it becomes this bigger thing.
Yeah.
So
There's a bit of an entitlement thing there, and there's almost, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but it's teetering on the edge of like invasion of privacy. Like if nothing's being said, nothing's being said for a reason. Like if they haven't
one of the
said
Liv
anything,
fans, yeah, they can't understand why we had a problem with them being like, I wonder if Liv is leaving now or if she's leaving at the 4:00 flight to get to Raw. And it's like,
what? Ew.
Why do you know or need to know this? This is, well, why would you not want to know? I want to know when she's landing. And I'm like, and block. Yeah, you know, like it's just
that's don't do it.
Yeah.
It's, you know what it is, like with the fan weirdness, and like we've all said stupid things, done stupid things. Maybe we've even interacted with a wrestler and like said the wrong thing or done the wrong thing at some point in our fandom. I'm pretty sure I have, but it is one of those things of like, I think one of the breaking point thing for me, like not like the Punk Bailey AJ thing at WrestleMania got all the media attention. The thing that didn't get enough media attention, in my opinion, and I'll still go back to it, with Drew McIntyre, is they didn't go with him to his hotel. They went to the other hotel where the rest of his family was.
Yeah.
And it makes you go like, what, guys, what the fuck are we, like, there's already really bad stereotypes about wrestling fans. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, we've all made idiots out of ourselves. Never forget, like, the reason I started playing 7-string guitar was I was a huge Korn fan, and a friend of mine had gotten me, like, a tablature book, and I'm like, I wonder if I could learn to play just reading stuff. So my mother picked me up a 7-string in, like, early high school, and I started teaching myself to play. So when I was at Ozfest, and I ended up getting a chance to meet both guitarists, and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But I'm not going to call them, you know, Monkey and Head. I'm going to go, I know their real names. Like, I'm going to be impressive. These guys mean a lot to me.
No.
And I remember calling them like different band member names.
Their real names?
But not even their real names, like different band members. I was like if it's, you know, it's Brian, I was like, what's up, John? Like that kind of, because I was just so nervous and young, and they just both looked at me, and I was like, nice to meet you, you know, one of those. But yeah, you know, you will do something silly. You will have some. That's not the issue.
Talking people's planes and shit.
Yeah, showing up on Liv Aria's doorstep for hours and looking for a key and ringing the doorbell and that's what I was showing Cody. I'm like, that obsessive nature.
The fact that the guy that did it to Liv Morgan got off. Oh, I'm not competent to stand trial. There's a lot of that going around with criminals. Let's not make that a defense.
No,
let's just leave it alone. And by the way, don't stab people in the chest on sports fields. But anyway, moving swiftly on.
One of the things I love about NXT is their ability to pivot.
Let me be perfectly clear. Not saying it for Jake, saying it for myself. Carmelo Anthony, piece of shit. Which is unfortunate because every time we talk about, oh, for sure. Put all three of them in the ground. Fuck them.
My nose
it's
job.
Unfortunate because every time we talk about SmackDown or I talk about SmackDown or whatever, and I go to say Carmelo Hayes, I fuck it up.
I've done that like a few times live, and I'll be like, yeah, good old Carmelo, hey. It's just at the tip of your tongue because, you know, you're... So
because one of the things you're hearing constantly how it's okay because of things,
yes, reasons.
I want to switch over to
really quick before that. Yes, I'm derailing you quick before we go on your diatribe. Last thing I want to say. One of the things I love about NXT is that they pivot. I wish the main roster did it more. Prime examples, I can give you multiple this year alone. They've gone ahead and all right, we're losing Stephanie Julia. What can we do? We need to shake things up. Well, JC is really catching on right now again. Let's Try it. We'll go for it. All right, Lola's not catching the world on fire. She's really over in AAA, so let's have her focus on that. Let's give the new girl Kendall the belt. Let's go for it. You know, like those type of things. They give it a chance, and I know they're developmental, but Kendall being the champ was not their point. You know, it wasn't their plan.
I gotta cut off you. I gotta cut off your cutoff.
Yes.
Because we're not doing like detailed breakdowns of the pay-per-views because the pay-per-views were gone like 4 or 5 days ago. I will say, for the people out there that say, oh, nobody in NXT can wrestle, Miles Bourne versus Tavion Heights and Lola Vice versus Kendall Gray on the same show. Eat a dick.
Both incredible and both nowhere near as egregiously foolish as Zack Sabre Jr. and Kenny Omega. A 30-minute match that needed to be 10.
And the match that I wasn't watching because Saquon Sugars was taking on Dion Lennon.
You lucked out. I did the whole dual screen thing, and it was just.
I was dual screening, but the other one was more entertaining.
No, and I know.
Coming up later, we've got a circular cheese grater chicken coop match. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Chicken.
Oh, but we got a chant from the nerds because we pulled out a Nintendo. And the funny thing is, they pulled out the Nintendo like they've never pulled out the Nintendo before.
They had Lio Rush in a duffel bag. No one's pissed. They had a black man in a bag, dragged out there, you know, and then they stuffed him back in the bag. The rain.
Oh, fuck.
But NXT pivots, and I wish the main roster did that because...
You know what I have to admit, though?
Yeah.
Do you know what I have to admit? As much as I hate to admit it, because it's just like Demon Balor and Danhausen had a baby. As much as I hate to admit it, the Blackheart Lio Rush thing is getting over.
Yes, I liked it from moment go. I've enjoyed Lio Rush for a long time. I liked him with Bobby Lashley.
I like Lio. I think Lio Rush is a fantastic wrestler. Let's nail that. When he came out as the basically Gollum for the first time, I'm like, cringe as fuck. And it's still cringe as fuck, but I'm like, I have to be objective to say, like, okay, at least in their little mud show bubble, he's getting over.
This could work anywhere. Why? Because it's so character driven, and we proved that because in GCW he infects, Shotzi, and now she's a Blackheart as well, and he carries her out of the arena at the end, and the story is building and the lore.
Do you know what they're like? Okay, it's cheesy in all the right wrestling ways, right? And like when I say cheesy, I mean like Boogeyman, I mean like Kevin Thorne, I mean like The Undertaker, I mean like anybody else we can mention, even Danhausen to a certain degree. It's cheesy in all the right wrestling ways, right in the beating heart of the company that's like, oh, don't watch them. They do all that cheesy stuff. Come watch the real wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, if they would stop getting in their own way and say, like, oh, don't watch them that do the fun stuff. Come and watch our
This is where the real men wrestle. By the way, we've got a 12-man cage match with an exploding backpack and a regular Nintendo Entertainment System as a weapon. Yeah.
Somebody knocked down a hamster wheel. What the fuck are we doing?
And the fact that he had to blow into the cartridge, all right?
And everything's, they blow lots of things. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But you know what? Like, Andrade came out and his T-shirt had swears on it, so 5 stars.
I still think the best swearing, like F you in wrestling, goes to Cody and Rock. Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. That F-bomb. That's why I'm mentioning it. I'm
sorry, my favorite F-bomb is one that was like technically not even on mic. When not as one of the Steiner brothers, but when Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner came back to WWE and interrupted who was it? Chris Nowinski and Matt Hardy.
Yes, 2002.
He went to grab the mic, and you could just barely hear the mic pick it up. Give me the fucking mic.
Love it.
And then he was in. The other thing that's awesome about Scott Steiner is he has an interview on What Culture, and the interview is done by Simon Miller. Like, can you find 2 more opposite characters? And he just goes on and on and on about how Stephanie McMahon's a cunt.
Yeah.
Simon Miller's just standing there.
I love it.
You see his eyes just keep getting wider.
Wider. Yes.
Anyways,
so Drew McIntyre said it with The Rock. I know they had that and crowd stuff, but Shawn Michaels screamed it.
You know why I like the Scott Steiner thing is because he just said it. It wasn't, and every wrestler does it. Every wrestler does it when they say bitch. Every wrestler does it when they say ass. They say it, and then they pause. It's like, I've done the thing. Now react. Scott Steiner was just, give me the fucking mic.
He was just doing it, yeah. Because I guess
Where the fuck is Vicky?
Yes, that one's great. Taker saying he's going to rip his fucking mask off to Kane, I guess, was supposed to be work, but wasn't. They said afterwards. Triple H and Ric Flair, they had multiple F-bombs caught on broadcast. You know, like there's always, it heightens the drama. But as far as a
Ric Flair and shooting interviews is great. But I'm saying, like, if it's part of the show, but you don't do the whole tee I just did a swear. I hope everybody cheers for me. And I'm sorry, even The Rock, who's one of the best in the game, has a little bit of that.
Oh, he always does that. Like, did you?
But he's got a little bit of that
kind of thing. You know, looks around.
Because he's got the extra like boss level of, oh, I'm the cool guy because I get to swear. Yes. Like it's weird. It's not put on because I'm pretty sure he swears in his real life, obviously. But Scott Steiner said, "Give me the fucking mic," and didn't care if anybody reacted to it or not, and that made it better, even all those years later. So let's knock it out of the park because I know you and I are not going to agree on this, which is fine. King Oba.
Yes.
King Oba, who looks funny and makes the decision to not wear the crown. He just carries it. He just
carries it. But that's almost more epic because Roman kind of looks silly wearing it, you know? So.
Yeah. So what's the big outrage? Oh my God, he gave up his title. They said he was going to get a title shot and they lied to us. No, they didn't. That's my simple answer.
Okay, how did they not? Because I feel like it's been a big bait and switch. Because Oba, it's just like winning the Rumble. You get a title match at SummerSlam, not night of your choosing. Not, so he's losing. So yes, he'll get one in future, but it made King of the Ring itself pointless. They could have just had Seth win. They could have had Jay win. You know what I mean? They could have changed things. And even having Oba kind of tap as well with the whole Jay thing was not. I know Booker T brought that up. He was saying how like, oh, well, Oba tap, there should be an asterisk there. It's you know, it's going to be a question mark for me because I'm proud of Oba Femi going out there become king, but he tapped, and Jey Uso should be king of the ring, and I'm like, I'm not, I'm not with that. But if they were going to have Lesnar just come out and challenge him, basically, I'm curious how that we didn't get the bait and switch there in your eyes. So.
What was the stipulation? WWE. Okay, the fictional authority figure, and I'm talking in story.
Yes.
Not what the WWE writers decided in the writers' room. In the fiction of the story, they said the winner of the King of the Ring gets a title shot at
SummerSlam, yeah, of their choosing.
And when Oba Femi came out, everybody said in the post show with the pay-per-view, everybody said even as he was coming out, oh, Oba's got a heck of a decision to make because he's got that title shot. He had the title shot. The authority figures said, if you win King of the Ring, you get a title shot. He won King of the Ring. He had a title shot. He, as a character, was so infuriated by Brock Lesnar and the what do you want to call it? The still existing of Brock Lesnar, that thing that he had in his hand, he was willing to forego or willing to put on the shelf. They were intentionally vague because I don't think he's given up his title shot. I think he's just going to get it at some other later time.
Yeah.
And mark my words on that, because when WWE is deliberately vague, it means they don't quite know what they're doing just yet. But that's the story writers. In the story, if you win this, we'll give you this.
Yes.
He won it. They gave it to him,
and he relinquished it.
He then decided to turn it into something else. He then decided to forego it because he wants to get his hands on Brock Lesnar just that badly.
Yes.
Now, from a storytelling perspective, I can see that where people are saying, "Oh, the writers pulled a switcheroo on." But in the storyline, as a character, he had the prize in his hand, and he gave it up for something else. Very, very much like, and people are not going to like this comparison, in TNA, there's option C. you can bust your ass to achieve the X Division Championship in TNA, and if you get it, you can then forego it and get a title shot. Now he didn't forego one title for another title. He forgoed his title shot. Foreshadowed or whatever you want to say, that title shot for now, for the chance to get to Brock Lesnar. You needed that as a storytelling pinpoint because he beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. It was the crowning achievement of his young main roster career.
Yes.
And then at the following pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar stole away that glory, made him look like a fluke, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, cheated, low-blowed him, attacked him before the bell.
He had to work as hard as he did. He had to not scratch and claw because it's fucking Obafemi, but scratch and claw his way through the tournament, achieve that so that he would have something to say, I want Brock Lesnar so bad, I'm willing to give up blank.
See, but Obafemi doesn't seem like the character that would give up the title shot because he fought so hard to get it. It would be a night 2 thing for him, and I was never really sold on the 2-night Obafemi experiment either.
I've heard about the whole, and I know Big Nick, our friend over at the Wrestling for Life Network, has mentioned this quite a bit. I've seen people parroting this idea of, give him both main events, let him main event with Brock on night 1 and let him get the title on night 2. So if you're going to tell me, if you're anybody, and I like Obafemi, we all like Obafemi. Obafemi's having
that's everything in one night.
He's having a moment, right? Not even is it giving everything in one night, and you definitely look at that like, okay, where do I go from here thing?
Yeah.
If you're somebody who ever complained about Triple H's so-called reign of terror or ever put out the hashtag LOL Cena wins, and you're pushing for friggin' Obafemi to retire Brock Lesnar
night 1
and dethrone the biggest star in Hell in the Cell. Well, we wouldn't have known it was Hell in the Cell.
No, but I just want to put that over. Like, they're doing it now, like it to even more put a fucking fire under everyone's ass. Like, it's not just a match. It's not
because
it is okay.
It's and I will say it is a bit of a knock on Roman Reigns, and I'm not here to defend Roman Reigns, but it is a knock on Roman Reigns. If you're going to tell me that somebody who 24 hours ago just survived Hell in the Cell with Brock Lesnar can also take your title the next day, even for somebody the stature of Roman Reigns, that's kind of a dig.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it was like giving him everything. You went through Hell in a Cell, and CM Punk took weeks and weeks off afterwards to sell the beating, and that's what made it work so well.
In the comparison to CM Punk, he's fantastic. You know how I feel about CM Punk. CM Punk is not getting the type of monster push.
I get that as well. But even if Punk did
they're pushing him as a monster.
No matter who did it. I mean, it could have been Andre the Giant. I still would have been like, Jesus, because you went through against Brock Lesnar.
It would draw comparisons to Yeselmania. It would draw comparisons to, I got my ass handed to me by Triple H, and then he beat the fuck out of me with a hammer, and then I went in the fresh Randy Orton and a fresh Batista and still won.
Yeah, but you can kind of use the story of they turned on each other, which was their downfall. You had both Batista and Randy Orton, so really he only had to win the first match and survive the second. Like with this, it would be a new night, so now it's not the same night. Still is. It's one-on-one. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
I'm not even saying this to big Daniel Bryan, but I am saying to go in there with a fresh Randy Orton and a fresh Batista and say between the two of them, between the two of them, they couldn't beat a much smaller guy that had already been through a match with Triple H and had his ribs caved in with a fucking sledgehammer.
He came in injured to the initial match, taped up, and then
of course,
and then got more damaged.
I always said that match, that WrestleMania, everybody thought it was so great, so wonderful, so fantastic. Yeselmania and all that. That match didn't do him any favors because he was more Cena than Cena. And this Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, Roman Reigns in one weekend thing would have the same effect. And this is why
my point is, I'm not saying that I'm saying you're right. I agree that it was always much. He was super, Cena extraordinaire doing that. My point is, I think Obafemi back to back taking out fucking Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar would be even worse, bigger of a deal, however you want to label it,
I can see that.
than what Bryan did in one night. Because, I mean, yes, you took out Triple H, but it's still it's not Lesnar. And then Batista and Randy are great, but at that time, they still weren't.
And here's the thing: as much as
they were future Hall of Famers, but not Hall
as much
of Famers.
as much as I'm a Triple H guy, was Triple H ever in his active days, was he ever seen on the level of a Roman Reigns?
That's what I'm saying. So Obafemi getting this, Cody was like, oh, let him have both nights, and people were like, oh, well, then why didn't Punk go ahead and replace so-and-so in the tournament, or why didn't this happen or that happen? And as much as I love CM Punk, I did not want him replacing anybody in the tournament. I felt like that was going to be a silly idea as well. And so what do you want? I wanted a tournament where like an LA Knight won, or even if they had Jay, or I just hate how it was always going to be Seth Rollins. No matter what, it was always Seth, and we knew it, and they went and they...
Okay. I'm sorry, I got to disagree with you there.
Yeah.
From the moment we saw the bracket, we knew Oba was winning.
We knew Oba was winning, but I'm saying like the match was always Seth's. And so now Oba won, but really for what? Because yes, he'll get a match, it'll be in the future, but I get he gave up his match, but still I feel like, it was his choice. So yes, you hate Lesnar that much, you want to take him out here and there.
Right.
But you're giving up the title, so maybe they could have done it in a lot of better ways.
You can disagree. Okay. Again, I have to say, to make my point, I have to exist in the story, not outside.
Yes,
and
yes.
I know that's frustrating for some people, right? You can say that his decision is a bad decision. What I don't like is people saying that the King of the Ring didn't mean anything because he was supposed to get a title shot and he didn't. No. If you follow the story to its strictest degree, he did get a title shot.
He did, but giving it up made it feel worthless in a way. Because, yes, I get the character motivation of I need to finish this before I can move on. That's all well and good. Like, that's not what I'm disagreeing with. I understand the character motivation, but
flip the coin as well is he's a confident motherfucker.
Yes.
I get
that. I just don't understand why they had him win to then go ahead and relinquish it in the end.
He got to the very top of the King of the Ring. He got to the very top of the King of the Ring and basically told his boss, yeah, that was a piece of piss. I can do that again anytime.
Yeah. It just didn't come across that way.
Okay, and I'm sorry.
And that's in part of the writers too.
This is where the outside factors come in. We know Brock Lesnar's retiring at SummerSlam. So it's not like, we could have pushed it to next month. Oh.
So apparently they have another bout scheduled past this. That's why they're not mentioning anything with the retirement. And they're strictly not mentioning the retirement because they sold merchandise that said Brock retired after Mania, and that could turn into a class action thing, allegedly. So now they're calling him the retired beast, and they're not going to do it for the retirement. It's just going to be the Hell in a Cell match. And that's more of my problem with it. So again, it's not that Obafemi said I need to finish this. It's the way they handled finishing it.
We have to take what do you call it? We have to take retirements in wrestling by the letter of the law.
Yeah.
Then you've never watched any wrestling ever, and you don't know who Terry Funk is. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
No, I know, but
people are only not, and I'm not saying you. People are only putting these caveats on it because it's Brock Lesnar, and they're sitting there and they're fucking pouting out their asses because they don't like that the guy still has a job.
See, that's not me. Yeah, no, I get, and I know you're caveating and saying not me. My problem is that they didn't do enough to sell the character motivation of Obafemi having to go ahead and give up his. He was just like, "Yep, title's gone. All right, you and me, we got this match. Let's go." Like that's the build. And it doesn't need to be a drag out, knockdown thing. I get that, but there was a lot that still just felt like it was just brushed away. And for Obafemi, basically they've done it with Danhausen. They've done it with Joe Hendry so far. You know, Joe Hendry was treated like a champion. He wasn't a meme. He wasn't a joke. He would appear when you said his name, but there was so much more to him with that. And now they don't even have the name part right. Like it's just everything feels like it's the quickest version of itself.
You know me, I'm super guilty of always looking at what things could be, right?
Yes.
The other half of this, the open I guess you want to say like the open letter as far as the creative goes. Anybody that challenges for a title at SummerSlam now, Roman defending his title, Seth going for his title, Sammy defending his title, whoever happens to be going after his title at SummerSlam, I don't know. I couldn't possibly say.
Don't know.
Oba could walk up to any four of them and say, yeah, I had something to take care of. So all of you had a stay of execution at SummerSlam, and now you're all in my sight.
Yeah, like I said, they could explain it later.
He can be a monster. He can be on the hunt for champions and challengers.
Yeah, I guess just why have to fix things? Why not just make it good? That's my point. And he is a big man, but I also know the point of all this is that here's my biggest issue. I can separate story for like mental justification, but knowing what we know right now is what's the most baffling and makes them feel and seem the most inept they've been. So their big plan here was all along since they had match one, allegedly, was to have Obafemi and Lesnar face each other at SummerSlam. And it was set to be a Hell in a Cell match. Okay, fine. So you already knew that. And then you already knew that Seth was going to face Roman, and you already knew. So then when they got to King of the Ring, apparently they had an issue backstage. They had a lot of disagreements on who should win. Creative wasn't set on any one person, and things kind of. So they had decided on Obafemi kind of at a not a later date, but more of a passing choice than a set choice. So they already knew they had Obafemi set for SummerSlam. That's set in stone. That's happening. But now we're going ahead and, all right, I guess we're going to make him King of the Ring. I guess. And then when you do that, it wasn't fully planned out. So now we have to retcon by giving up his title match to fix our mistake. It doesn't feel like a character motivation to me. It doesn't feel like, hey, Obafemi's doing this to be done with Lesnar, because he could be done with Lesnar at any point. It didn't have to be. But WWE's big issue right now is that this is not WrestleMania. It's SummerSlam. And I'm like, so you don't want Obafemi to win the title at SummerSlam. Then why have this booked as such? Why do it this way? Why wait till Mania? If why have the parameters set that it has to be WrestleMania if you're the ones booking it? That's basically my issue.
There is, and it's kind of a separate point, and I didn't have it on my list, but it's worth bringing up. There is, I don't know how to say it. There is a problem with wrestling fans, and I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. When you hear a good match, or you hear a good moment, either a good match or a, hey, this person's going to achieve this for the first time, or this, that, and the next thing, and the immediate reaction is like, oh yeah, save that for WrestleMania, right?
Yeah,
but
I've always hated that. That's one thing I've always been against.
There are things, and this, like, what have I been saying forever? Is I want to see Punk and Cody at WrestleMania.
Yes,
they should main event night too, and blah 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 blah.
But because we knew WrestleMania would be probably the only place they would give us that anyways. Like, that was also part of it. So you're conditioned to have that mindset.
The people that aren't complaining about Sami Zayn, the people like us that are happy for him, a lot of them are saying, well, WrestleMania is in Saudi next year. Like, how come we didn't do this? How come we didn't save this for WrestleMania? And it's just like, it's a good... I understand where it's coming from. Like, oh, this is my guy, or this is the particular thing that I want to see, or this is the particular direction I want it to go. And because it's the thing that I want, or because I think it's this big, I think it deserves to be on the biggest stage. Well, as long as you keep saving everything for WrestleMania, nothing else is ever going to feel big.
Exactly. Thank you. That's my huge issue. And it's like, why does the coronation have to be then? Why couldn't we have just had the freaking match? It doesn't have to be WrestleMania. And that's one of the things I miss about wrestling. Like, everything has to be on a PLE. Everything has to, like, we don't, that's why I'm excited that we're having this title match on Raw, even though it's a SmackDown title. We're having it on Raw. And that makes me happy because we don't get that often. We really don't. So this is a big to-do that, hey, they're even giving us this match. And I'm excited that that's even a possibility.
Well, on the other side, they're giving away too many world title matches.
Yes, but they're doing it on Raw now. And it's like, all right, I wish it was the Raw title. When's the last time you think you would see Roman go ahead and defend a title on a TV show?
Again. It's the Punk factor. I'm just saying.
But Punk has done and would defend and has done these things on. He just defended it on Raw back in January.
Oh, I know. But what I'm saying, the reason
Roman wouldn't. That's my issue.
The reason
Roman
that they're
gets
doing
special treatment. Yeah.
The one that we're doing this week in particular is on Raw.
Yes.
Because Raw is in Chicago.
Exactly. That's the only reason.
He's either going to, get involved with somebody, fill in the blank, and fight them at WrestleMania, or get involved with somebody, fill in the blank, and fight them for the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It's going to be one or the other. But yeah, it's one of those, the Oba thing, like, and we make a joke all the time, like, oh God, we actually get to fight about something, right?
Yes.
And it's like, I get where you're coming from.
And I get where you're coming from. And look at that. We had a civilized conversation. It can happen.
It's okay to be tribal.
Yes.
Just don't be a dick about it.
But see, I get your point, because the character motivation is not something that doesn't make sense. It's not like it's a bad decision for Oba Femi to be like, fuck you, Lesnar. You have screwed with me every step of the way. I need to finish you off before I move on to finish anything. I'm not going to have you ruin my title match. I'm not going to have you ruin any opportunity. Like, I get that. I don't hate that.
If he can retire Brock Lesnar, and this is still the assumption that I'm going on, so just bear with me. If you can retire Brock Lesnar, then when you bust your ass and, like I say, like piece of piss, very easily get myself another title shot, I won't have Brock Lesnar to worry about. But here's the thing here's where I go for story over, oh my God, they took away this thing, but they didn't actually take it away. The character decided to do something with it, right?
Yeah.
Money in the Bank. What's the purpose of Money in the Bank?
Cash in and win. That's the
opportunity. Cash in and win.
Title of your choosing. Yeah. That's
title of your choosing. And everybody would go for a world title, right?
Yes. Usually.
Everybody thought Austin Theory looked like a dumbass when he tried to cash in for the United States Championship, right?
Yes. Which I never thought, but
now flip that on its head. Take somebody like a Sheamus, who has spent so much of the later parts of his career talking about the fact that the Intercontinental Championship is the only championship he's never won.
That's the one that's eluded him.
If Sheamus cashed in for the Intercontinental Championship, you wouldn't be thinking he's a dumbass.
Exactly.
It would make story sense. So
and that's why I said, imagine just really quick, Brock Lesnar comes out after Oba Femi wins, and he's like, guess what? When you get to SummerSlam, I am never going to let you win that title. I am going to make sure that the rest of your life for embarrassing me at Mania is over. I'm going, something along those lines. And then at least Oba's like, you know what? I have to finish this. But it didn't feel like it had to be done at SummerSlam. Maybe that was my point I poorly conveyed, but it just didn't feel like it needed to be SummerSlam. I get it because it's Minnesota and I'm not a moron, but
you know what? Okay,
I hope you get where I'm going with.
And again, this is something I forgot from the weekend because there's a lot to talk about. So many people complained about at Night of Champions how where was I going with this? How Danhausen interfered in the Liv EO match.
Yes, and it made it like a foregone conclusion of what she'd be doing.
No, the foregone conclusion isn't what I'm talking about. So many people have phrased it as Danhausen interrupted Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. If you think about it for a second logically, Danhausen didn't interrupt anything. Liv Morgan interrupted Danhausen's talking segment, and he responded in kind. The fact that she did it right before she had a match, I mean, that's more on her.
Exactly.
But it's just that slight, I want to make it sound stupid, so I'll just say, and I have to reiterate, it's not you and not some of the people that we know that just have a legitimate gripe with it, but some people will like, but a lot it didn't go the way I wanted. It didn't go the way I wanted it. How can I make it sound as stupid as possible? Oh, I can just be dishonest.
Yep. I can just go ahead and do as I like.
It's one of those things. And Danhausen's doing great. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Rumor circulating that we're getting Dirty Dom versus Danhausen at Madison Square Garden, which is hysterical, and I want to see it.
Danhausen. I do know the matchup, so it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be entertaining.
Nice.
It's gonna be a fun time, right. And if you're thinking, it's certainly in that level. No matter who it is, I think just Danhausen having a match at MSG is exactly what we need.
Very, very. So it's not cool. And here's where I make one of my super obvious, this is eventually going to be a clip, breaking moments. We don't like cancel culture, do we, Jake?
No, not at all.
Let's talk about everybody's gunning for everybody. Everybody's gunning for particularly the ladies in the WWE Women's Division and the NXT Women's Division.
Yeah, it's been...
What are we doing here? What's going on here? Jade Cargill. I like Jade Cargill. She's good. She's a star. Not super fantastic 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome between the ropes, but she's a star. She's getting better. She's doing good.
Yes, she's improved.
Sounds like I'm taking the piss out of her, but I'm not.
But no,
I actually do like Jade Cargill quite a bit.
Yeah,
but she's got room to grow. Is a nice and hopefully not too sarcastic way of saying it, right?
Absolutely.
So she tried to do a black hole slam on somebody over the course of the weekend. I don't know whether it was SmackDown or whether it was at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. I can't remember now. Not the point. Anyways, she tried to do a black hole slam. It didn't come off very well. Somebody else that we have a whole lot of respect for, who's currently off injured and may not even be coming back, Piper Niven.
Yes.
Put up a post, and it could have been phrased better. I'll say that much. But she basically said, this is this, and that's why this happened, and kind of implied that she wasn't great and kind of implied that she was a bit reckless, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you need to go for your coworker in public? I'm going to say no. Do you need to turn around and target Piper Niven, who's dealing with potentially career-threatening, potentially life-threatening injuries, and do all the body shaming, death wish stuff either? No.
Exactly.
I think Piper Niven, speaking from the position of somebody who is currently injured, and that would absolutely, on times 100, it would heighten your concern for the people that you share a business with, but also the people that you know on your roster that you're probably good friends with on some level. You've gotten hurt. The last thing you want to do is tune in to the show and watch somebody else get hurt as well.
Exactly.
Coming from a good place, delivered not very great. I don't want people coming for Jade Cargill because
no, certainly not.
She's gone from like a 3 to a 7, and I think that's good.
And
I don't think
she's improved everywhere on the mic, in the ring, just in general. Here's
the thing. I don't want to say this because it sounds like a knock. Jade Cargill is fantastic at everything but the wrestling, right? And her wrestling is getting better.
Absolutely.
And the thing about it, the thing that shines an incredible light on it is her star power shines a light on where she's lacking between the ropes. And that's not a bad thing. Look where she came from. You can't really expect her to have very much experience. She was doing 2-minute squash matches. Certain people out there that are problematic called her Rye Black. It's terrible. It's horrible. But like, to say that she's not gotten any better since she came to WWE, since she spent some time in the PC before they actually debuted her, would be a lie. To say that she's the finished article would also be a lie. And the unfortunate thing about that is she's such a star. If you're Triple H or whoever else is doing the writing, of course you're going to put her out.
Yeah, damn straight.
And she's not the wrestler that her star power would imply. And that's got to be a horrible place to be, where this is so high up here and you're just waiting for this part to catch up. So I feel for her, and I think people are way too critical of her. I think her fellow roster members speaking on it from an experience angle is not that.
Okay.
It's not.
I think it was, like you said, explained wrong, but not a deliberate.
I think it was explained right. I think it was explained right with some unneeded accusation behind it.
Absolutely.
Wow. I think the explanation was sound. I think the delivery was bad.
Gotcha.
So I feel for Jade, and I feel for Piper in the sense of like, I just have to keep saying it over and over again as I stumble over my words, but she's injured. The person that's most apt to look at other things and want other people to not get injured is somebody that's currently injured. Or at least I would think that would be like a psychological effect, right?
Seemed like that was supposed to be the intent.
Yeah. And it's one of those nobody wins. I don't want people going for Jade. I don't want people going for either, because I do think people with the actual experience should speak out and should say, like, what's the best example? I mentioned him already once in the pod. Concussion guy, which is a terrible way to refer to anybody. Yes. Career ended because of a concussion. What did he do?
But
he went and learned every fucking thing he could about concussions, and now he's in like this advisory. I don't know what his title is per se.
Yeah,
but he goes around
attempting to help people
seminars on specifically within the wrestling industry. Like, he can't wrestle anymore. He's contributing some other kind of way. Like, don't do what I did type of idea. And
Maven has done some of the same, bringing up injuries and things of that nature. So
I have the greatest. I can't remember where I read it, and then somebody said it was the difference between Maven and Ricochet. Maven's a dork that knows he's a dork. Ricochet's a dork that thinks he's really cool.
Yeah. It's so true too.
I don't watch Maven's stuff. I do think he's a little too dorky for my taste, but that's a taste.
See, thing. I've always liked him. And he's got a bit of.
Like, I'm not saying he's bad. It's just not for me.
No, yeah, he's got a certain bit of that, but like you said again, it's not bad.
But yeah, super, super disappointing all around. I don't think Jade's trying to hurt anybody, and in a roundabout way, I don't think Piper's trying to hurt anybody either. And people are going for them, and I don't think anybody wins, and it's just really sad.
And we just had this with Soul and Liv, where Liv went ahead and was in the wrong position, and Soul.
Oh, it was another house show, right?
Yeah, and Soul got pretty much ostracized into oblivion for it, and it was just
I don't want to stray too much into hyperbole. I've never seen the mainstream audience land so hard so quickly on somebody as they have for Sol Ruca. And I'm not saying that because she needs my sympathy. She's a big girl. She can stand up for herself and
but it is
stuff. But like, as an observer and
there is something to be said and seen.
But it's so like, it's so out of nowhere because she just got there. It's not like anybody's like festering weird like neckbeard hatred had any chance to actually develop. It's just like, nah, she's here. She sucks. Like, what?
A lot of it, honest to God, it sounds insane, but I know this firsthand, started with the Liv fandom out of straight jealousy. It sounds insane. I swear to you, that's literally the truth.
I don't know.
Like I said,
I like Liv Morgan as well, and I think she's one of the best things going in that company.
Yeah.
Maybe again, like, not.
I don't know about the best. She's certainly really good, and I feel like her act is getting a bit tired. And Liv had said a while ago that she wants to be heel for the rest of her career. And when she was coming back, we had made the claim like, oh, it seems like WWE kind of wanted her to be a face before she came back and did the thing with Cena and all of that. Just by the way they were handling her.
I think they've realized that she's the kind of heel that can stay heel, and the people that love her are going to love her regardless.
So I think they kind of, that was a bit more of their pivot.
If she got injured and disappeared and came back like smiling Snow White babyface, like, it would be jarring almost.
Yeah, see, I was thinking more like when they had Chyna and Eddie as faces, like they still did the lie, cheat, and steal stuff. They were still shitheads, but they were just fan favorites. Like, that's more what I was thinking. But still, regardless, we got death threats over this from their fan base because Liv said she decided she will always be a heel. And I'm like, Liv doesn't get to decide things. Like, I'm like, it's not 1999 and she's not Stone Cold. Like, it doesn't work like that anymore. People don't go into the boss's office and say, this is what I'm doing. And they were adamant. That doesn't
work for me, brother.
We were talking on Weekly about a report about how Liv was filming for season 3 of Unreal and all of that, and more death threats. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. Like, people just, our inbox is full, going nuts. And I was like, this is a joke.
You know what the funny thing is, right? Do you know what the funny thing is, though, right? And I hate to, like, nobody should get it. And you guys shouldn't get it because you guys aren't doing anything that fucking deserves that. But it does double back to, like, we're just fans. We're just idiots on the internet talking about it.
Exactly. It's an opinion. It's not fact.
No, but here's the double down, right? So if we're just idiots on the internet talking about it, and that's what we get, it
Imagine
really makes you think like what they're getting exactly. And it's
the harassment is truly next level. We know that for a fact. But the thing that
look at what happened with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
Back in the day with the buddy trying to get into the place. And even like what kills me is like, you know, you talked about the Liv thing earlier with like the stalker and all that kind of thing. The guy that was like camped out outside the performance center for the NXT ladies for like a long time.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we hear a story and all that's terrible. And then when the story went around about Liv not that long ago, like the reaction was almost opposite. The reaction was like, oh, she can handle herself. Like,
yes.
what the fuck?
And it's like, what do you
didn't have to?
No.
Like,
but I also feel like the fan base does that a lot to alienate people because things will happen. And like because what happened? The very next night after Soul basically was making her debut, she went after Liv on an episode of Raw. And that was enough to attack her for real. And then the whole accident thing happened and forget it. It turned into this nightmare scenario that Liv just stoked the flames on. And that was what was most upsetting to me. That she was so easily willing to be like, hey, you know, I am that bitch kind of idea, and don't worry about, you know, stopping the hate. Yeah, I know weird. It's not always their responsibility, but when you see it's your fans going after someone and it's your coworker.
What was it? It was when Liv and Rhea were feuding. Didn't one of them like completely break character and be like,
Rhea did for Liv, but Liv can't do it for anyone else.
Reel it in a little bit,
yeah. Rhea went on and was like, guys, it's clearly story. We're playing it up. Like, you need to calm down, and that couldn't be reciprocated by Liv ever. So people are down on her for that, and I can't blame them. It's been ridiculous, you know. And
but at the same time, she shouldn't have to. Like,
no, you don't have to control your fans, awesome. But when you're inciting them, it's different.
No,
she's actively going and making them. She treats them like an army that she can just unleash onto the fandom, and I've witnessed it.
Well,
firsthand.
you know, especially in the YouTube community, as soon as you refer to anybody as an army, it's lame.
Yeah. But that's what happened. She goes on to whatever.
Sorry, I had to.
I know, but you get it. And whatever site happens, you know, it's like, forget it. She goes in and she's like, yeah, let's have everybody follow me and we'll get this person now. You know, basically is what it turns into. The underlings get mad and report to the boss. So it's just weird. Like, you figure you'd be that busy, but yet she's so tapped into social media, and I don't know how. Like,
remember when all the Alexa Bliss fans... Remember all the Alexa Bliss fans going after Catfucker from New York?
Yes. JD for that comment. That was hilarious.
I'm going to get a cease and desist. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know what's not fine, though? Even if we see the stupidest thing in the world online, if we saw something stupid online, if we saw something stupid on, say, Twitter, and then you found out that it was posted by a 13-year-old,
yeah,
you're not going to double down on a 13-year-old, am I right?
No.
What you do is you wait like 7 or 8 or 10 years until she achieves her dream of being a champion in WWE, and then you bring up the tweet from when she was fucking 13, right? Speaking on Kendall Gray had a fucking phenomenal match. I would say right up there in contention for best match of the weekend on a weekend that had 4 pay-per-views.
It was so good. It made me really enjoy Lola Vice. That's how you know how good it was.
I was going to say, you beat me to it. I was about to say, it was so good it made Jake enjoy Lola Vice. But the match was fantastic. And within 24 hours, the scavengers of the internet went back to... I'm sorry, and it's pathetic, but it's also borderline creepy when you're looking up like kids' tweets. And because she used the F slur.
I know. Evil.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. A 13-year-old did it. Oh. Yep. Wow. You know what's the funny part? 13-year-old just murdered somebody and is getting 2 years probation. But you're worried about, like, they obviously always treat kids different than anyone else for a reason, because their brains aren't fully developed.
Maybe that's why you don't make other alterations, but that's another story for today.
That too. that coincides with my point. But yeah, that's the thing here. Come on.
It's, and I'm not using predatory in the sense that we would normally be using the term predatory. But like, if you have that in your back pocket, that means you've had it for a while. You waited until they hit the epicenter of like whatever they were trying to achieve, and like you had it on a time drop. Like, you're just a disgusting human being. First of all,
you built up an entire.
You're either following children online, which is sus, or you're going after people you don't like and searching out what they were like when they were children, which is also sus.
Yeah, there is no good look here.
And
neither
also
piece of it looks good.
It's also just like, okay, I want to get a dig on WWE and blah, 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 and I lean incredibly left. What can I do to spike cancel culture today? Okay, we'll go for homophobia, which nobody here agrees with homophobia.
No,
despite all the jokes and the sarcasm and blah blah blah, and blue sky hangman is a thing, but like nobody actually supports that, and nobody believes that should be a thing.
No, and it's no one's actually.
But you can trace it all the way back to, oh well, that they're incredibly right leaning because Triple H works at the White House. Really, it's Triple H going out there on behalf of the White House trying to convince kids to exercise, and the left are really,
heaven
really
forbid.
Sad.
How dare you?
The left are really, really sad because if the kids start exercising, they're harder to kidnap, moving swiftly on. But it's just like, it's pathetic, man. Like, there's no deep dive. There's no like hardcore analysis that we can do on this.
No.
It's just fucking pathetic.
It's just targeted harassment and hate. And that's all it is. And it's on an insincere level where you're feigning victimhood to appear offended when really it's got nothing to do with anything you truly care about.
They're trying to be offended on behalf of a group.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're offended.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And it's got to be, like, oh, we're offended now because you've gone ahead and said such a thing. But even though it never mattered to me until this very moment, because that's when she won the title. So that's the time to call her out. How dare NXT employ her as a champion? Terrible, and that's what they're going for. If they actually cared, as soon as they found the tweet. You're not telling me they found the tweet then and there. Like you said, these things are calculated and planned and manipulated.
Here's the thing, like, the fact that you wait until somebody's highest moment to try and pull them down off their high horse is one thing. But the fact that you're like, because I'm assuming this isn't somebody that knows her, right?
Oh, of course.
You're still, no matter when you found it, you're still like digging into the childhood of a total stranger, which is crazy and cringy no matter how you spin it.
Exactly. No matter what you're doing there, you come across as a terrible person.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's just disgusting and so disingenuous, and there really are so many issues out there today that we can be upset over that this is like...
Oh, but those are the ones that get brushed over.
Yeah, those are the ones that don't matter.
Like, I'll go back to it one more time. You can stab somebody in the heart if you make up a good story about being bullied afterwards. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But if you wrote something handcuff really nasty, if you write something really nasty on Twitter 10 years ago, that's the hate crime.
That's the problem.
Fucking what are we doing? Anyways, to bring to a nice little close, this has been this week's episode of Cancel Corner.
Dun, 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 dun.
Anyways,
let's move on. Don't you worry.
Everyone
loves it.
Anyways, so that's a lot of WWE drama and
rightfully so.
A little bit of Spaz and Jake drama. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's switch over to, I'm sorry, probably the best pay-per-view of the weekend, TNA Slammiversary.
It was damn good. It was so much better than I expected it to be, and I had no real, like, I'm not looking forward to this kind of thing. Like, it wasn't bad by any means, but the build was just not knocking down the door. Apollo Crews being the surprise was not expected. Uha Nation, really cool to see him back again. And
cool. You're just gonna skip through all my bullet points, eh?
That was my biggest takeaway. So that was the thing that mattered most to me. Yeah. Out of everything,
the one that mattered the most. That was the one that mattered the most to you. Okay, fair enough. So we'll start with that then. Uhaa Nation, formerly known as Apollo Crews, formerly known as Uhaa Nation, made his debut. I like what they did here because they do the bickering back and forth between the two power figures, between Daria Ray and Santino Marella. And when so Mustafa Ali has an open challenge for his international championship, and Santino comes and says, "Oh, I found a challenger," and Daria Ray says, "Oh, I found a challenger. Oh, I guess it's going to be a triple threat." And here's where somebody got kind of buried. It was kind of like Randy Orton before CM Punk came back.
Yeah.
But Rich Swann, who wasn't gone, but who we haven't seen in a while in a prominent position, he came back. But then the bigger story was Uhaa Nation. Like I say again, the former Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
Just a really, really good match. I mean, Mustafa Ali retained, and people were like, "Oh, so they just brought him in to lose?" And it's like debut, and the match was phenomenal.
Match was great. They can have it's. See, I hate those again, very disingenuous. That's the word of the day today. But those comments, it's like you can tell when he didn't come in and just get destroyed. He didn't get his ass handed to him where you were like, oh my God, why did he even? There is a purpose there, but people don't let things advance.
Debuted in a triple threat with Rich Swann and Mustafa Ali, who are also fantastic.
Exactly. And like I said, they did it in such a way that it was
one of the biggest drop
fun
balls,
and good.
One of the biggest drop balls for WWE has got to be Mustafa Ali at this point.
Absolutely.
Holy fuck, he's fantastic.
I mean, I always was high on that guy.
Oh, yeah. I will still say, and it might be fixed slightly in one of the other things we're going to talk about. The only thing I don't like about his faction is it pulls Tasha Steelz out of the women's division. We will talk about that in a moment. A couple of quick things. We already know ODB is going into the Hall of Fame this year at Bound for Glory.
Yeah,
we got the
which is awesome.
Of Conan that was announced by Mike Santana before the main event, and Amazing Red was announced by Kazarian after he competed in the Ultimate X match.
Which was,
and you know what? It was a
cheap
win, but it was a good cheap win.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
In the best way possible.
Yeah. Cedric Alexander's loving being a heel right now.
But people are like, oh, that's how you win the Ultimate X match? Yes, because out of all the times they kill each other, he just steals the belt. It's kind of genius. It was fun, and it was inventive. You don't see that.
It is. You see people... it's the whole, no, you don't win a battle royal by chucking the other guy out. The other guy has to be chucked out and both feet touch the floor. Yes. Ultimate X has always been, you have to get your hands on the belt and bring yourself to the floor. So he did it. And Cedric Alexander is, and see, here's the thing, Cedric Alexander always came off to me as such a positive wrestler.
Yeah.
I have to say, I am greatly surprised and happily surprised at how good he is at playing a dickhead heel.
I know. I knew he'd be good at it, but I didn't think he'd be this good.
I wish he was flying solo because the System 2.0 is kind of shit. Let's be real for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But Conan going in, as I said, he was announced in a video package by Mike Santana. Amazing Red was announced while he was still in the ring by Kazarian.
Yeah, you thought they were going to fight, and it was a cool...
Yeah, Kazarian stepping out of character for a minute to make that announcement. Going in there along with ODB. The Hall of Fame for this year in TNA at Bound for Glory is looking pretty good.
Feels really like fan favorite focused in the best way possible, and I think that's sorely needed and a lot of fun.
Going back to the OGs,
mm-hmm.
Because I think Sting was the first,
and it works great with the time too, because they're doing the TNA coverage on Dark Side of the Ring, so I guarantee that's going to bring about some former viewers or current.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring has such a negative connotation. I don't know that it's the attention that you would want.
Well, because it's explaining the negatives to show where they are today. So I think it's gonna have like a positive conclusion with it. I think that's the
because is it about TNA or is it about Jeff Jarrett and TNA's part of his story?
It's they didn't really specify. I mean, it's 3 episodes. It's definitely Jeff Jarrett themed and focused, but there is a lot of TNA stories, I guess, too. So I know they're gonna cover Cornette coming in. They're gonna cover like transitions of power stuff with Russo. So there's definitely, things to be discussed, and
so we're bringing back OG TNA stars like ODB, Amazing Red, Conan, etc. We're also bringing back OG TNA pay-per-views. We got Lockdown coming up, and it was announced this past weekend that they're bringing back Destination X, which is basically, for those of you that don't know, it's basically an entire pay-per-view based around the X division. It's basically what WWE did with Evolution for the women's division. This is TNA doing that for the X division.
Yeah,
which is really cool. They usually have an Ultimate X match in there. They usually have what's the other one? Elevation X in there. They might have a Steel Asylum in there, but coming so quickly after Lockdown, which is also a cage-based event, I don't know whether they'll do Steel Asylum again. Because Steel Asylum was kind of
that was nuts. Yeah.
Steel Asylum, if you remember the debut of Steel Asylum, it was when everybody has to climb up the inside of the roof and go out the hole at the top.
Oh, the red. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody could do it, so they kind of had to like cut the cameras away, and people would sort of come out the side door and then just appear on top.
No one could actually climb through. And didn't Jeff appear at the top at the end?
Jeff made his debut to attack one of the winners. I think it might have been
okay.
But the whole thing was you had to go out the top because you were supposed to be there to get attacked by Jeff. But it's cool. It's an old school pay-per-view. Old school TNA diehards are going to love it. People love that they're bringing back Lockdown. I know people are upset that Lockdown isn't going to have the 6 sides of steel because they don't do the 6-sided ring anymore.
Yeah.
But every wrestler that's wrestled for TNA has told you why they're not doing the 6-sided ring anymore. A couple people have said, would they bring back the 6-sided ring for Destination X because it's all the smaller X division guys? I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that
like it would be cool, but it's been decried as such a painful thing. Like,
I think it would be cool to look at, but I don't want other people to hurt themselves so that I have something cool to look at. I'm not an AEW pause.
Exactly. Like
Destination X coming November 15th, much like Lockdown. Lockdown's coming in, I think, a couple of weeks from now. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
So here we go. And here's where the fun comes in, because we're going to put a whole bunch of focus on the X division, which is awesome. Let's put even more focus on the knockouts by giving them a new belt. By giving them a new belt that looks really cool. I like it. It's fine. The Knockouts television title, or if you look at the belt itself, the KOTV title. And that's just be a thing, right? I think the belt looks gorgeous. I think it's a perfect combination of like a classic looking belt with a little bit of like modern splash, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The criticism, and it's kind of the same for the X division, honestly. If we're going to get a Destination X, they need to focus on the X division and maybe bring in more X division guys. If they're going to have a secondary women's championship, they should put more focus on the women's division, possibly bring more people in. So they're focusing on 2 of their maybe a little bit neglected divisions, which is insane because the X division is like their signature division. But the ladies division has struggled in TNA. Let's not pussyfoot around it. They in one way or another, they lost Deonna Purrazzo, they lost Jordan Grace, they lost Masha Slamovich, they lost Killer Kelly. Rosemary was gone for a long time, but she's back. But
Allie's back. But yeah, they've lost quite a few along the way, and they've only picked up a few.
They got to beef things up, and a couple. Danny Luna got frustrated and left.
They only picked up Indy Hartwell and Mara Sade, Elena Black.
Yeah.
So they had
Harley Hudson's another one.
Yeah, they had Vicky Venuto. She was guesting. Wendy Chu, Thea Hale were extras in, so that's cool.
I've got the bracket in front of me. We're gonna do the bracket in a second, but I had another point I was gonna make, and it fell completely out of my head. Oh yes. But yeah, so the hope is X Division pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Put more focus on the X Division.
Yes, add more to the women's and give them
that's what I was going to say. I do like the fact that they specifically said when the title was introduced, yes, it's a TV title. Other companies have had TV titles before. There's the TBS and the TNT title. They're defended on pay-per-views. WCW had a television title that got defended on pay-per-view. They said in the introduction that this belt will be exclusive to Impact. And I think that's probably one of the most important elements to this, because one of the things that they said when they said, oh, women's mid-card title, oh, they're going to do a women's X Division title. Well, that really wouldn't hold much ground because both the women and the men have fought for the actual X Division championship.
Yes.
And if you got something that's TV specific, even if you're saying, oh, it's just one division and it's the mid card of that division, having something specific to the show is a reason to watch the show.
Yeah.
Don't fall into the territory of, I know people have said this about AEW. People have said this about TNA currently. I'm starting to worry about it in NXT, actually. But the whole idea of, like, remember old, like, black and yellow NXT where it was like you could miss the weekly show, but, like, you'd get caught up in time for the pay-per-view and then the pay-per-view, right?
Yes.
Well, you can tune into the pay-per-view and the pay-per-view is going to be awesome, but it's not going to have the Knockouts TV championship on it.
Yeah.
Now, the Knockouts TV champion, and even though Jake is an awesome editor, I'm going to pretend that there's definitely not a cut right there. But yeah, you might have the TV champion on a pay-per-view doing something in a storyline, whatever, but the title itself will not be defended on pay-per-view, which I think is a really neat thing. It's a thing that's going to make people tune in to Impact. Now, we have the brackets because people said, oh, it's a 16-person tournament. They only have 14 women. Okay, cool. But they also have, you
knew someone was coming in, obviously, and that.
Well, they have their roots into the indie. They have their roots into the indies a little bit, and plus they have the working relationship with WWE. So, and they have they have people on their roster that have, like, previously existing relationships with the people in NXT as well, which makes it an extra level of interesting. So I'm just going to run down the first round matches that we have on the bracket, and I think it's kind of funny that both Nick's favorite Wendy Chu and KJ's favorite Jody Threat are both on the docket here.
Yes.
Indy Hartwell versus Vicky Venuto, who I'm not very familiar with.
Yeah, another indie talent. And they've been giving the WWE ID system shit, being like, oh, they're keeping people from bookings and blah, blah, blah. But come to find out, that hasn't been true at all. And they're literally like, oh, no, they can't go there because Evolve is taping. Sorry. Like, well, they didn't send a replacement. Well, we didn't know we had to.
That's like when they said, they held up Leon Slater's visa in the UK so that he could show up on SmackDown. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yes, they just took advantage of a situation, but heaven forbid that.
They didn't just take advantage. They gave him an awesome opportunity as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was stuck, so let's make it work for us. You know?
As much as I want to put over TNA, and as much as we want the best for TNA, more people are going to see you on SmackDown. Let's be real for a second.
Absolutely.
Especially worldwide on Netflix and whatnot. But yeah, the rest of the bracket goes Harley Hudson versus Thea Hale, which is going to be a lot of fun. Elena Black versus Wendy Chu. Again, lots of fun. M by Elegance versus Rosemary. I'm not going to lie, man. I know she's like the veteran in the division. I hope Rosemary the whole thing. That's just me.
Yeah.
Jada Stone, who's been showing up and showing out for like months now, taking on Alicia Edwards. So do you want to know something? Jody Threat taking on Gabby Forza?
Yes.
I'm not sure about that one. Mara Sade and Tasha Steelz. A lot of people that I've seen online said Mara Sade and Tasha Steelz should be the final. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I wouldn't have a problem with that either, but
going back to what I said a second ago, this pulls Tasha Steelz out of the Order 4 stuff and actually lets her do some stuff in the women's division.
Yeah,
and Heather by Elegance taking on Ali, or the Bunny, or however we want.
Ali, yeah.
So I think it's basically the entire division other than Lei Ying Li. I'm kind of surprised for the amount of time that she's spent in TNA. For the amount of times that she's spent in TNA at this point, her and Stax, I'm surprised Ariana Grace isn't in this.
I am as well, but I think that's intentional. I think she's going to be doing stuff over. I mean, they could have used her, but I guess they had people in mind, and maybe they're considering her a more NXT talent now. You never know.
It's true. No, because there was a good chunk of time there where she felt like more of a TNA star than an NXT star. Not in any kind of bad way, but she spent a lot of time.
No, not at all.
Trick when he showed up in TNA. I still say it, man. I don't think we get the Trick we're seeing on SmackDown right now if he didn't take that side jaunt.
No, not at all.
It was
that really opened him up to a whole new world.
Him working with Joe Hendry was one thing, but him working with Mike Santana.
Yes, that world wonders. Really changed his outward personality, like his ability to believe in himself in a way. Like he now acts like he's the shit, and you believe it. Like that's the fun.
Lemon Pepper Steppers. Speaking of, maybe we can see a rematch because Nick Nemeth won the TNA title and Santana is gone. So
he's on his way out.
Add Santana to Enzo, Big Cass,
possibly the Revival. Still,
possibly
even though they've taken time off.
Yep. I can never think of the other guy's name, but the fellow that's supposedly coming in to join Evil.
Yes, not Tanahashi. Takahashi. Takahashi, not Tanahashi. One of them. I always mess it up.
Tamagotchi.
One of them. Pikachu. Still.
But yeah, no, I don't have much to say other than like it's Nick Nemeth and Mike Santana. Of course,
yeah. No, not you. But yeah, I always forget his name as well. But it is interesting that they've really managed to stack this tournament in a way that feels worthy of the competitors and is still exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who is going to win, and I think that's really interesting. And
I'm with other people that have said that they've got a little bit of fatigue, not with necessarily NXT and TNA working together, but NXT picking up TNA belts.
Yeah, so this could be.
I'm not pushing for that. No, although, if they decided to put it on Thea Hale,
I wouldn't hate it.
And like I said with Ariana Grace and JC Jane and a couple others, let Thea Hale have a TNA run.
Yes, a true TNA run.
It's really awesome we can talk about it in these terms now. Like we talk about Lola Vice lost the NXT title because she's going to basically go and have a AAA run.
Yeah.
Thea Hale win this. I'm not pulling for Thea Hale specifically because I know a lot of people have a little bit of that fatigue, and that is also understandable.
It's not unjustified, certainly. Like, it is a legitimate thing. I get why they're tired of it.
Like, I don't necessarily... I think Wendy Chu being the dual Evolve and TNA KO TV title would be an interesting thing.
It would be.
Because she... Wait, hold on. Here it is. And if Nick's listening, he's going to hate this. She can be Wendy Chu belts.
Oh God! Now,
let's go.
Now you're talking.
Let's go.
I'm all for it. Wendy Chu belts.
My bias is pulling me towards Rosemary, right? Just because.
Yeah, because, and she would be one that would be like a really cool first inaugural champ. You know, she wouldn't have it super long, but that's okay. You don't need her to.
This is the thing as well. Like, you think about like somebody like a Becky Lynch picking up the IC title, right? It's not so much for her, but whoever wins the IC title belt next also gets to say that they beat Becky Lynch.
Exactly.
Rosemary is so ingrained. Rosemary is so ingrained in their knockouts division that whoever takes it, like say Rosemary wins it, but then Elena Black takes it off her. She gets to say, "I took down the TNA legend, Rosemary."
Exactly, and that's huge.
Yeah. So if I put my NXT bias aside and it's not Thea Hale, and I put my spooky bias aside and it's not Rosemary,
then
Wendy Chu belts, I popped myself.
That is not the worst idea, and I do like the spooky Wendy Chu that she became, and the character got interesting. And
so if I put aside the NXT bias and it's not Thea Hale, and I put aside the spooky bias and it's not Rosemary, the only other obvious one to me has got to be Mara Sade.
Absolutely, because she's one that would. But see what I mean? Like, I'm surprised Elena Black's not in the tournament, injured eye or whatever. Oh, she is in it? Okay, then I must have read an old one.
Elena Black's taking on Wendy Chu first round.
Oh, okay, then I read it backwards. All right, so she was one that I was like might win, and I'm like, I could be, but I was like, I didn't see the placement.
I'm looking at the bracket and the permutations of the bracket just now. I could get sort of both things that I like, because we've got this weird team up between Mara Sade and the team of Rosemary and Allie, right?
Yes.
So if you follow the brackets along, the one that I sent to you and Nick, I'm pretty sure that's the same one you're looking at.
Yes. Now
I'm not saying Mara Sade is a
the Google one up and it wasn't accurate.
Okay. Like, I'm not saying Mara Sade is a student or anything like that. I'm not trying to like diminish what she is, but if it's her and Rosemary in the final, and it's this person that kind of welcomed her to TNA, and you could have a little bit of teacher protege.
It's certainly a good story.
Face and face.
Yeah.
It's funny because like she's got a little bit of the snarky attitude. She's not bitchy, but she's got a little bit of snarky attitude, and Rosemary's kind of creepy. So to refer to that as a face versus face match, and even in and of itself, is a bit of a it only works in wrestling type thing.
Yes, it's funny, but it works.
It does work, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to follow the tournament week to week and then see the title live week to week is going to be quite an interesting thing. And I'm interested in seeing how they platform it, as because every other pay-per-view, or sorry, every other title in the company, you're booking towards the next pay-per-view. To book a title specifically for the
next show, yeah, and especially because they're pre-taped every now and every other or every third.
It's a completely different storytelling mentality.
Yes, so that's
it's not like number one contender, and then you get your title shot at Bound for Glory. It's going to be you get your title shot next week.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I enjoy that.
If it's going to be the draw for the weekly show, then you got to make it appointment viewing. And I like that.
I like that it's kind of a must-see thing, and has
Ash by Elegance isn't in it, but her underlings are.
Yes, Heather and Em are in it.
She can still pursue the main title, whereas also being like, "Hey, look at the champions that I've created under me."
Exactly.
Kind of like Liv Morgan. See what comes around is all around.
Except these ones win.
Speaking of the ladies, I am going to dip into NXT for like the last little bit of this pod because I'm keeping a close eye on the time.
Yes.
And having a unfortunate cut in the middle there didn't throw me off my game at all. I don't know what you're talking about. We had a debut on the end of NXT this week, attacking my girl Tatum Paxley. Apparently a lot of people know who she is. I don't really, other than I've seen pictures and I've seen headlines and whatnot. We don't know what her name is in NXT for sure just yet, because they did the whole announcer, we know who that is.
Yes.
Her. She's from that wonderful promotion called Japan.
Yeah. Well, she was in Florida for, a lot of it with CCW and other things. And, she comes as someone.
Is who we're talking about. Yeah.
Yes. Nikki Blackheart. When they brought her in for the debut back in May, I think it was like May 16th, she appeared before the NXT taping. And she went ahead.
I think I saw the pictures going around.
Yeah, I had mentioned to you that was her as Martinez. She came out as Martinez then, but I guess they're not keeping that name. They're trying to get Nikki Blackheart cleared now, so it is interesting.
May I say more like
for
Nikki Blackheart,
right? So she has gone ahead and impressed many
I think he
people.
said that the other night.
Like I said, she's impressive. So she was a cheerleader and in the NHL for the Florida Panthers, and then she went into pro wrestling.
I thought you were going to say she was in the NHL.
Yeah, right. Thicky could be. She was trained under Gangrel, and then she landed on WWE's radar for over a year with her athletic background. And then Bayley was incredibly impressed with her, so that gave her high praise. And
Bayley's doing all that like workshop type stuff now.
Yes, so she talked to her then, got her working together.
I really want good things for Bayley. Good things for Bayley are not, hey, I'm over here in AEW and thumbnail with us on it, and I'm gonna call you Rose. Fuck out.
Oh my god, I saw that, and that was like
Mercedes Moné saying the only time I'm ever coming back to WWE is when they wise up and put me in the Hall of Fame. You can fuck all the way off, five head.
Yeah, that was.
Anyways,
upsetting to say the least. I do not want to see her.
I do want to say something about this because she hit her finisher. I don't know what her finisher is called. She basically had Pax up and sort of like lost her and got it back.
Yes, she did recover it. It kind of looked a little sloppy, but she did recover.
Here's the thing, And I know you're not saying that in a derogatory way, but a lot of people are. Like, oh, she botched her debut.
It's another Sol Ruka, is what I heard.
No, people are like, oh, it's worse than the Dark Order. I'm like, well, it's not, but
not by a long shot.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, because you're obviously going to push her as a powerhouse because she's clearly a powerhouse. The fact that she lost it and basically took one step forward and got it back is almost more impressive than if she hadn't lost it.
And wasn't able to keep up with it. Yeah, exactly. You know, like it's
almost like when you're watching a match, and like when you've been watching the matches as long as we have, like, you know, when something's gone a bit awry and they just bring it back around, and it's like, okay, I hate that you had a moment there, but I'm kind of also glad that I saw it because you had a moment and you were able to pull it back because you're
you guys impressed me more with what you saved. You know, Michaels was good at that, and there's a few others, like Ziggler is good at taking a botch and turning it into part of the match.
Michaels could also pose like an upside down tree. We've all seen the picture.
The
one match he had with Hogan where he like super sold everything,
like an octopus in a washing machine. Yeah, one of my favorites.
Hey,
just because of the implications. Yeah.
Right.
No, she's very impressive, and I think that she's going to be a very hot commodity. Interesting that they don't have a name ready for her debut, but I guess it was a legal issue, and she's going to be...
Okay, I will say, for people that say I don't criticize WWE, they've done this way too many times now.
Yes.
The whole, like, overly awkward, we know who that is.
It's that...
Like, if you don't
is that a fan? Is that, and you get
the Mason Rook, is that a fan thing almost made more sense.
Yes, then
like, if you don't have
who
a name
is
for
it?
them,
what do you mean you don't know who it is?
If you don't have a name for them, play it off like you don't know who the hell is that. Tune in next week to find out.
Yes, don't go, they're here. It's that woman, Mariah May, that we can't call her that, so we're just not going to say her name. You know, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Oh, what they did with Ricky Saints for like 3 weeks, and they didn't even say his name. They just panned in on the contract.
I don't even consider him Starks anymore. Same thing with Blake Monroe. I haven't even Mariah who. Like it's funny how it was such a big deal to some people, and it's barely even a footnote. And remember, I think the names are better anyways. They suit them better. I like Blake Monroe over Mariah May.
Mariah May is not a bad name. If
it's
she had
not
kept
bad.
It, I wouldn't have minded.
I didn't hate it, but I like Blake Monroe better. It's just
I remember when Samoa Joe showed up in NXT and was like one of the first people that actually got to keep their name.
Yes, when he walked out to that shitty theme, dun 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 dun.
It was like a dance thing, and then they like slowed it down, and it's almost like the one he has in AEW.
Yeah, it's close. But,
speaking of AEW, and so speaking of keeping a thumb on AEW, there just so happens. There just so happens to be a Super Show coming our way. Ooh. And it just so happens to be on Sunday, August 30th, which is really awesome because there's nothing else happening that day.
No, none at all.
We're getting a AAA event that has yet to be properly named, along with NXT Heatwave.
Yeah.
And it's a single ticket double event. I've never quite seen things phrased that way. Single ticket double event. Basically, AAA is going to start at like 11 in the morning, and it's going to run through, and then there's going to be like a definitive break in the middle, and then they're just going to run right in the same venue in Texas. They're going to run right into NXT Heatwave that night.
I think that's awesome.
Now, I think it's awesome. And it's a weird concern to have because AAA is in pretty decent size, but when you see it week to week, they're in pretty decent sized buildings.
Yes.
In front of pretty decent sized crowd. Obviously, in the home country and all that type of thing, and they've got the home fans, like the hometown fans, everywhere they go, right? But they're filling big buildings. They are not necessarily doing that with NXT shows at the moment, if we can be honest for a second. But where was I going with that? So are they going to a AAA sized building or are they going to an NXT sized building?
That is the question.
I looked at the building on Wiki and the pictures are kind of shit because they're mostly like top down pictures.
Yeah.
It looks like a hockey arena.
Definitive.
So it looks bigger. It's bigger than like, say, they keep going back to the theater at Madison Square Garden, which is a cool, interesting looking place, but it ain't that big.
No, it's
so
pretty
if they're
tiny.
even going to like a small, like a Pee Wee hockey sized arena, that's a big step up for NXT. and it's a big test for AAA.
Yeah.
Because they said at the beginning of the year they were going to make a concerted effort to bring them over the border into the States. We know that half of Triple Mania is taking place in Vegas, which is very interesting. This is it.
First
and
night.
I'm coming to the point now, Jake, where the whole tribalism, the whole counter booking conversation, I'm just done with it. Like, I'll still rant about it, obviously, but I'm done with it. And I'm just
I don't blame you.
Brand new mentality. Okay. Feel free to use it.
A new game.
Feel free to use it when you share the podcast. It's fine. So great, so wonderful, so vast. And it's #tribal is okay.
Hey, there we go.
#tribal is okay.
And it should be.
So okay. Some might even say great. Other people say that. I would never say that. That's what they tell me.
That's just what they let you know. And somehow you're still earning money through the presidency, you know?
Because I don't know. I have a strange feeling we might get a TNA show on that Saturday. So are we going to have another weekend like we just had?
I think we might, honestly. I was going to bring that up to you because I heard that TNA might throw one in there, throw their name in the pile.
Nice. Even if it's a Friday show, because you know what they've done? They've started like time shifting the Friday shows so you can watch SmackDown and then catch the TNA show. And we've got SmackDown going back to 2 hours for the second half of the year. And they've just landed on that as well. They've just landed on it's going to be three hours half the year, 2 hours half the year. And now that we've just established that, it's a lot cleaner than, oh my God, they're changing it again.
Yes.
Oh my God, they're changing it again.
Exactly.
Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it.
They're
changing it again. Now we just know what the pattern is. And you know what? And I mean, they can shift some bodies around. Okay, we need 3 hours worth of people. Now we only need 2 hours worth of people. So
I certainly don't hate it. It's not great by any means, but
we're gonna put Punk on SmackDown. So great, so blue. The only time I really like blue. Normally I'm partial to red.
Normally, but not today.
Normally I'm partial to red. Don't like blue balls. Not fantastic. So terrible, so horrible. And it's very tired in here. But yeah, this is going up Friday and it's Thursday night, and I'm gonna get out of here and watch some TNA and see if they start the tournament, because I haven't read the spoilers for TNA.
Hell yeah, I avoided the TNA spoilers, so I am looking forward to that. Thankfully, that's
the fortunate thing is, and it's one of those catch-22s, because I wish more people were talking about TNA, but because not quite as many people talk about TNA, the spoilers aren't so in your face.
Yes, as we're SmackDown, it was literally just everywhere. I tried and couldn't escape it. So that's why I was finally
it's the downside of being the A show.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which it really has become as time is going on. That's not even a exaggerated thing anymore. Like, that's genuinely true. I feel like that really is the truth with what we've got now. So
one more time before we get out of here. Fellow Canadians, happy post-Canada Day.
Yes.
To my friends down south, including my awesome co-host Jake. Happy 4th of July. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Sir.
Hope you guys don't cook in the heat. Have a hot dog. Have a brewski for your boy. And Jake, tell them what's going on with you and where they can find you.
Yes, indeed. You can go ahead and find us over on youtube.com/Jake DeMarco. We'll be over there going live again for all the recaps. We'll be live over the weekend. And we also have a poll that just went up. We're going to be bringing out Into Somewhere movie night soon to add into the whole game night fun. So go ahead and check that out. Let us know what you want to watch. There's a few different movie options up there. Scary Movie 7. Scary Movie 6, Scream 7, that's what I meant. A few others, so go ahead, check it out. Mortal Kombat 2 is one of the choices. It'll be a good time. We'll have that live in the Discord, so don't go ahead and miss it. Make sure you're subscribed and follow us on Twitter @CountdownEnded for updates and more, my friend.
Save yourself from boring content. Go subscribe to Jake. And you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. Spaz, this has been Jake. This has been your Canada-America Handshake Week special festive edition of the State of Wrestling. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. For right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
Where's my bag now?